Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump stood in front of almost every camera in G7 summit and said one statement which is absolutely shocking to the entire planet. He said US would defend India if it were attacked. Then he added on the record stating that if he is the leader.
If I can tell you this, without having a contract, we don't have a contract, you have to write contract. But if they were attacked, we would be there to help them. Is that a good statement? Okay, come here. If anybody attacks that man, we're going to be there. Now, if there's a new leader, I'm not sure about it.
That's not a promise to a country, that's a promise to one friendship. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to picture this. A ship is moving through dark water, 62,000 tons of gas on board. One wrong move or one missile hit, the game is over. And this ship has a name, Disha. It's sailing straight through the most dangerous strait on the planet currently, the Strait of Hormuz. This place now is a battlefield. If this ship doesn't make through the Strait of Hormuz, you will feel the impact. Yes, you will feel the impact. Overnight, petrol prices will spike. The LPG, the crude, the oil, the petrol, and everything overnight turns very expensive. While this ship was sailing through the Strait of Hormuz, 7 people sat in a French town. It decided the fate of almost every person on the planet. And for your kind information, India was part of that route. Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump, the United States President, said one sentence that almost shocked the entire planet. 13 long years, India was invited as a guest to the G7 summits. It was not a permanent member. It was invited as a guest. The G7 leaders meeting in Evian, France in 2026 threw their support to a fragile deal. One meant to keep the Strait of Hormuz open, and Macron said it is a very good deal. The deal is still holding. Nobody is talking about it, nor Washington, nor Tehran. They're applauding a document that doesn't exist on a paper. Who actually makes decisions like that? G7 includes 7 countries: the United States, the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, Canada. It is simply the richest club on earth. Every year the chair rotates, and this time the chair landed with France, and they opted Evian. Whatever these people decide in that room, you are going to face the consequences. To know what they have discussed, stay tuned in the video. And what bothers us is India is sitting at that table, not as a member, but as a guest. There was something cooking in that floor where the media wasn't allowed. One name sat behind those closed doors. It was unspoken, and that name was China. China was a country which was flooding global markets with cheap products. It was quietly choking all the 7 countries' industries at once, and tied to it was minerals. The raw material which is situated inside every battery, every semiconductor, and every piece of clean tech on this planet. The G7 signed a declaration: cut dependency on any single supplier. Nobody said the China's name out loud, but they meant China out. And here's the twist that turns this into our own story. A report dropped mid-summit calling India the most acceptable partner because we are seen safe and predictable. Sounds like a win, right? But guys, it isn't. China didn't lose by getting replaced. China made itself impossible to replace. The G7 finally admitted that, calling India a backup plan rather than the perfect answer. One more decision was made, and that touches you directly. The G7 even shaped real time on how AI is being regulated. France even pulled a major AI step, inviting OpenAI CEO and Anthropic CEO on board the G7 summit.
The Group of Seven is wrapping up 3 days of talks in the French Alps on Wednesday with discussions on the contentious future of artificial intelligence and U.S. dominance of the industry. Executives of leading AI companies, including OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, Google DeepMind CEO Demis Hassabis, and Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei are attending discussions as U.S. President Donald Trump and other leaders close formal talks of the leading industrial nations in the lakeside resort of Evian-les-Bains.
The builders of AI were sitting right in front of the lawmakers. The rules of the AI tools that you use in the regular day-to-day activities were now shaped while you're watching this video. We were called for an outreach session. Narendra Modi ji said one single statement which was diplomatically soft. He said most of the world's biggest crises don't come from a shortage of resources. They come from the shortage of trust. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to sit with that statement for a while. The G7 signs declarations, number of declarations on minerals, on AI, on almost all the things of the planet. The one thing that was actually missing, which was felt in this G7, was trust. And trust cannot be signed with an agreement. And here it comes to every single thing which matters to us. So without any time waste, let's directly jump into the 3 takeaways from this episode. Takeaway number 1. The decisions that shape your life are almost never made in the room you're allowed into. Your fuel prices, the AI that you live under, decide elsewhere every single time. Your only defense to that and the answer to this was to stay informed. And for that information, you have this channel Rohan Learn. Go subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell because we break down large case studies, the current trends which are happening all across the globe. And for more such things, if you are interested, go hit that subscribe button and notification bell. There are a lot more interesting case studies which are coming in the near future. Let's directly jump into the takeaway number 2. Warmth between two leaders is not a guarantee between two nations. Today, Donald Trump says he would support India if Narendra Modi would be the leader of this nation. And it is not signed anywhere on paper. It was just a friendship sentence that he showed towards India. Who knows whether if Donald Trump supports our rival in the next war. The only thing that this takeaway says in a simple words is don't mistake a good photo for a safe future. It is not just in geopolitics. It is even applicable to your life. Because in geopolitics there is one theory. We don't have permanent friends in geopolitics. They are only favors which support each other. Today's friend would be tomorrow's rival. It is not at all expected. It is only your ideologies and your strategies what you go with. And with that, we have the takeaway number 3 popping out. And this one is for India. Being invited 13 times is not the same as having a seat, a permanent seat. India was called more acceptable to replace China. But it was never an irreplaceable partner that the world thought of. Today, it is the 13th year that we are being invited as a guest to G7 summit. But we never got a permanent seat in the G7. And this is where all the things come together. The only way that India could turn from a guest to an irreplaceable partner is by building that nobody thought. Yes, building those things which the world has never thought of India. By the next decade, India should be the most popular and irreplaceable partner in production, in factories, in development, in infrastructure, in education, in health, and many other things. Only the time is going to answer this question. We have already break down case studies of Singapore and Venezuela. You can check that videos here. The only way Singapore became a global power is only by its decisions. And the only way Venezuela from being a global power turned into a bankruptcy nation is only by decisions. So now it is left to India's decisions, and India, how does it take? and what will it lead to. Hoping for the best for India. Thank you for watching. If you have not yet subscribed to our channel, go subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss something big next Saturday. That's it from my side for today, guys. Meet you in the next one. Until then, bye bye.